right. Should be up and running here. Both streams should be live. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for June 17th, 2021. Let's take a look at the Qs and SPY here. Just finishing up Qs, the strongest of the bunch, up 1.3%. SPY is up or just flat on the day, was down and then recovered, and then IWM down 1.1%. But all of these to varying degrees still bullish. Okay, we talked about the potential for looking for some kind of setup if we took out the pivot created yesterday. Sorry about that, that's the closing bell. And so we were still needing to get follow through underneath that pivot, and then if we did like a base and then broke down or did a sell setup. So you can see what happened here. We broke below and then got bought right back up, and that's not that surprising. The location on the SPY here on this pullback into a lot of support, I expected this area to produce some chop. Even if we were going to end weaker, I thought there'd be a lot of back and forth. Now the Qs on the other hand just didn't even look back. This morning was bullish and stayed bullish. Okay, so we came into today bullish and outlined what we would need to see in order for that bearishness to happen. And even if we hadn't been so bullish today, we weren't going to get that signal in the morning anyway, right? We would have to break and then get follow through and then get the retracement. We wouldn't be getting at the earliest like it would be this afternoon. So it wasn't anything that was really kind of that immediate to look for. So as expected, because we got bought going into tomorrow, still going to be bullish on the Qs and SPY. Okay, IWM got a deeper pullback, but is still bullish, right, given the larger time frames. All right, let's go over the plays from today. AQN was a gap down. It was a secondary. Wow, really came in here at the end of the day, but I played it at the open. So I played it on this sell setup right here. Looking for, it was a really nice and tight stop. Looking for new lows, more follow through, but it didn't work. So killed it pretty early there. The stop was originally 11. And then as soon as it wasn't working, killed it over 05. So that was fine. A little bit of a loss there on the AQN, but I thought it was worth a shot. This gap reminded me of the Sage that we had a few days ago. See how it's breaking this pivot here. Now it is lacking in some shock value, but I don't think lately the shock value has really mattered too much. So Sage, nice, breaking down on the weekly here. And that's what I was looking for on the AQN. Okay, for the weekly, that is no longer an uptrend to continue to follow through. It was a secondary, but you can see how it closed pretty weak there. But just didn't get the timing right on this one. I think the idea is good, and maybe still some potential into tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll have to see how it sets up. It's hard to tell now that it's had such a wide range today. Next play was the CETIA XR. It was a 5-minute buy setup here. Waited for the 2-minute to kind of fix after the pullback. So on the CTXR, which is another one that we actually just did a few days ago. But here's the pullback right to the rising 20 there. So that was the play on the CTXR. Was okay, got to 2 Rs on the first piece there, but then the back half trailed under the hourly for partial loss on the back half. So overall, still an okay play, but just didn't go as far as, and that's not that surprising. Daily was up there a bit, okay. We played it on this day too. But yeah, today, kind of like a 1, 2, 3 pattern, although this as an inside bar is not very good. A little bit too big and actually took out the top by a little bit. But the idea is there. You get the move up, you get a pause, maybe some longs exit, maybe some short startup position. And then once we get back over that, the shorts got to cover, longs got to get back in if they don't want to miss out. So So that was the idea there on the CTXR. It was just a 5-minute pullback on a bullish daily. And then wasn't really a whole lot to do, I thought, into lunch. And then the afternoon play was the VKTX. I thought this was really pretty. Here's your 5-minute consolidation here. 15-minute rising 20 here catches up. And then we played it over the base, looking for new highs and be in until end of day. And I mentioned too that I don't know if we're going to have big targets for this because it definitely has some resistance in the way here. The weekly's in the way, but I thought the intraday was pretty enough to warrant a play. Okay, and then, it's bullish. And so gave it a shot. It didn't make that much, just kind of a small play here on the VKTX. Okay, there was a lot to look at. I think I said this yesterday too. There's always gonna be stuff that's moving as well. I think the challenge right now is focusing on plays and good setups. We talked about how sometimes a play's not good enough, but it works. That's fine, and that often lures you into wanting to take the next play, even if the next play is also not good enough, and maybe that one works or doesn't work. And it's not really the environment that we're in where it's just, take everything, be aggressive, everything is working, right? I've been stressing that we want to focus as much as possible, let things that just are problematic go. And even I'm having a hard time with it because even on these plays like the VKTX and the CTXR, these both worked, like this one, like I said, it wasn't really a gap, a little bit extended on the daily already. Okay, and then the VKTX has some stuff in the way as well. So it's hard. And then there's a lot of plays out there that I'm going to look at and pass on. And so the challenge right now is really to focus, not to kind of trade down to the sloppiness of the environment. Okay, so try to keep that in mind. I think it's tough, especially you're there. You've already done your pre-market prep. The market opens, you're ready to trade, you're ready to make money, right? And like a day like today, which based on the gaps, TWO, which didn't quite clear, but I thought had some potential to do so, so I was going to watch it. And then the other one was the PDCO, were my two favorites to start, and then neither of them set up. PDCO just kind of got sold from the open. Okay, fine, it's not a long anymore. It's telling me that the people are treating this gap up as an opportunity to sell. We saw some weakness in the energy sector, so I'm sure that contributed to it. And then the TWO did set up, but then didn't trigger. I was looking for it, as I was basing the top to play it higher. So, and then it came instead. I wasn't planning to short it or anything. So, so that kind of left me with, okay, we got to refocus, go through the thumbnails again, see what's looks okay on the daily. And so when that's the case, you can kind of start to jump around a little bit too much, right? Chasing things. And so I think when we don't have a lot of favorites and there's kind of just a lot of sloppy movement, that's the thing you want to be careful about, is not kind of losing focus and not just trying things to try things. Okay, so it's tough. I mentioned that because I think that's something that for me, for right now, is a issue or just a temptation that I'm noticing as well. Okay, all right, hope you did well today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a good evening.